I happen to grow up from a family that within the same family compound, we have Christians, we have Muslim, and we have Babalawo. And we all live together happily within the same compound, because in Africa, usually we don't live in flats, we don't live in duplexes, we live in compounds. Each compound has different quarters, for different wives, different children, different grown up this, grown up that. So we all live together within that compound. That's how I grew up, in that compound. I remember very well that we chose to be Christians. Anytime we're going to church, those that are Muslims, they say, meaning, remember us in your prayers. On Fridays when they are going to mosque to pray, talk to God as well, we also remind them that, do not forget us in your prayers as well. And not only that, I remember vividly well that the Babalawos, when they are doing their Odunfa and all that, we all gather with them and, enjoy the rituals with them and everything that they had to do. And some of them has this masquerade that comes out every 7th month of the year. And anytime it's going to come out, as a matter of fact, my first uncle has one in Ogbomoso named Dosu, Egunwola Dosu. Until tomorrow, they still come out. The children are still going in that lineage, and they are my first cousins. So you can understand where I'm coming from. In our lineage, we have pastors, we have reverend. I am a Christian, and I remain as a Christian. But I have nothing against them with what they are doing, because I believe that the Almighty God, Eledumare, with that kind of a background, and fast forward, I happened to be an art student in secondary school, and I loved history so much. Always one of the best in history class. So as a student of history, I went on to study fine and applied art, in which we will have to do a lot of historical work in it. So that in itself was enough seed in me to be interested in an historical perspective of different race. And as an African, I am more interested in the African race, where we are coming from, where we are, what brought us this far, why are we where we are, and what are the errors we have made in the past, how can we correct it. Having that background, I realized that the history of Africans has been told mostly by non-Africans. One, then a lot of people believe that Africa started from slavery, from chains, and that is not true. We didn't start from chains. We've had our development before slave trade, before colonization, before the Berlin Conference. We've had our history. We were doing exceptionally well. Our Onisheguns, our doctors, our Onisheguns, they were already doing cataract operation with the instrument produced by our Orisha of creativity, Ogun, as far back as that time. So delving into history has propelled me. I've not been so comfortable with the way African history has been told over the years. And I'm not the only one. We have a lot of people who are doing a lot of correctional historical perspective, because most of our history are horror. It's good that this is coming up now, Oriafrica, and I know that several others are working on other things as well. So it's a little here, a little there. Collaborations will happen as we go on. But most importantly, Oriafrica is not limited to the West Africa where I'm from. Oriafrica is going to go across the African continent, the 54, 55 African countries, and make sure that we have interviews with the owners of the land, the true owners of the land, so that they can tell their story themselves. And then in telling their story themselves, we can understand the potential that each one and every quarter of Africa possesses, and then we now emphasize on it. Take for instance, I was in Zambia so many years back. I went to Royal Livingstone. The name of that place was never Royal Livingstone in the first place. That's a story for another day, because Royal Livingstone, it's a foreign name. But at the Royal Livingstone was a result. And that result above the Victoria Fall. The name of that fall was never Victoria Fall. It was never Victoria Fall. The river started from the Zambezi River. And the Zambezi River source is more like a little bowl like that. And the current of water flowing from that source alone to form the waterfall at the end of the day was so much that it got the attention of the colonial master. And they henceforth changed the name to Victoria Fall. It was Zambezi Fall. It was Zambezi River. It wasn't Victoria Fall. It was never Victoria Fall. That was the Zambezi River Fall. So a lot of these things need to be corrected, and this is the essence of Ori Africa. Not only that, there are so many things that are coming up on Ori Africa that we'll be talking about. Thank you very much. You see, the African culture is so much loaded that it's not just only our way of life, it's beyond our way of life. When you talk about the hybrid part of it, technology emanated from our culture, which was obstructed at some point. But the emphasis of Ori Africa right now is that please let's go back to where we stopped, look at where we are and what other continent has achieved. Now bringing the originality that we have, using it to improve on whatever anyone has done today. You know why? Because that is just wisdom. I remember when the Chinese wanted to start their own industrialization, one of the things they did was that they went out of their continent to other developed continents and got different kind of gadgets. Because I remember back then, anything from China was fake, but not anymore, because almost everything comes from China now. They didn't stop when people were calling them fake. They kept at it and they went on to develop on it. That is exactly what Ori Africa is saying now. Let's begin to develop layer upon layer on what we possess and what we have in Africa. Let's stop exporting our possessions as raw materials. Let's begin to add value to what we possess in Africa. I'll give an example. Look at Africa is rich enough to produce our food, but unfortunately, we're the most importers. We're the most importer of food items. So sad. And we have great land, fertile land to produce everything we need. Yet we import ordinary grains. We import them. Yet the land is there, fertile and rich. Our attention has been diverted systematically from agriculture to oil. Our rubber has gone into extinction and it's still there, we still have it. The cocoa industry, name it, not to talk about our mineral resources that we possess on the African soil. It is time for us to begin to add value to this thing. Now, where we are starting from is not the problem, but where we are going should be our focus. It is always a step at a time. That we are at this level is not a challenge, but that we remain on this level is a big deal. That's where the pain point is. So let's begin now and start adding value to what we possess. Someday, we'll hand over something to our children and our children's children. One of the greatest challenge I have faced in the last few days, Oriafrica will be, a month on the 25th of June. And within this last 1 month, oh my God, one of the greatest challenge I have faced is our cultural understanding. As a matter of fact, I want to be very practical. It is so sad that when an African man wears beads, his African brother, that they live on the same street, drink the same water, eat the same food, call them fetish. It's so sad. When an African man takes pinata, abamoda, life plant, and tells people that this leaf can work for cough, our African brother has always been the first person to say, no, go to the pharmacy and buy cough syrup. For how long are we going to continue to believe the lie that has been told us several years back before now? For how long are we going to be sitting on treasures that Eledumare has blessed us with? For how long? For how long are we going to be seeing our brother and our sisters in other religion apart from ours? I am a Christian. I have friends who are Muslims. I have friends who are Ifa worshippers. I don't see them differently. I see them as friends and we relate. How long are we going to be segregating ourselves or dividing ourselves across religious lines? It's debarring our development. Not to even talk about tribal lines. It's debarring our development. Let's unite as one Africa and solve our problem ourselves and move forward. Like Professor Pro Lumumba will always say, that he looks forward to one day where Africans and the continent of Africa, we have just one passport and one currency, united as Africans, blessed with resources. Please, it's high time for us to begin to see ourselves the way we are. As a Yoruba man, when I dress like a Yoruba man and I wear my kembe, the next thing my brother On the same street, we say, oh, maybe he's now an Ifa worshipper. Or maybe because I'm wearing a cowrie jewelry. Someone say, oh, he's now... These are just ornaments that our fathers used back in the days. They're just ornaments. As a matter of fact, the cowrie used to be our means of currency during the primitive era. And can I shock you? This is not even the original. This is plastic made from China. The Chinese are now making it for us to consume. Omelero, owanjegunguero. I just said it the way the Yorubas will say it. Omelero, owanjegunguero. The son of a butcher who is eating bones. Omalasho, owanwakisa. Omalasho Africa, owanwakisa. The son of a clothes seller is wearing rags. That is our condition right now. It is high time that we begin to change our thinking and go back to factory setting. What Oriafrica means to an African child in the diaspora for their future, the potentials of Africa becoming enterprise. Very simple. Turning African potentials, what we possess, what made us a bride that was forcefully married during slave trade, what made us a bride that was forcefully married during the colonial era, what made us a bride that was forcefully married as a result of the Berlin Conference, what made us a bride that every other continent are still bringing their claws up until today to be a part of, is what we possess, is our potentials, is what Eledumare has blessed you, African child, with, free of charge. And that is what we take Africa to the level Eledumare expects Africa to be in terms of technology, in terms of science, in terms of pharmaceutical, in terms of fashion, in terms of music, in terms of name it. Many thanks to our music industry. Thank you guys. You're doing a great job. But my addition is simple. Please, let's have real African content in your songs that can change the life of your brothers and your sisters. Not the one that will lead them the other way around. It's not just about the tones, the drums, the guitars. It's more about the lyrics. Please give us lyrics that will make Africa better. Give us lyrics that will make your own child a better child living in Africa and on the soil of his father's land. Do something that you'll be proud of. That when you do it, you know that if your child follows in the same thing you are saying, you will be comfortable. That's the only challenge I have for our music industry. Obviously, some are getting it right and they are doing it exceptionally right. I give it to them. Thank you very much. Continue to fly the banner of Africa. The sky is just the beginning. African child in the diaspora, Ori Africa, is simply emphasizing what your land possesses. We'll be gathering a lot of data because we'll be sitting with the owners of the land. They'll be telling us their stories exactly the way it is. And they will be telling us what they possess in their own quarter. Because we'll be moving from village to village, cities to cities, and towns to towns. Checking out the potential of each land. Gathering the data, which is another bank that we can bank on. So from Ori Africa, we've emphasized a little on some of the things that we should expect from Ori Africa, but I'm going to be emphasizing more on it because it's never too much. One of it is Ori Africa roots and herbs, and that is taking us to where Africans came from. The forest has always been our pharmaceutical, and that is the emphasis. We're going back to the forest for our healing, for our food, for our water, for our drinks, for our roots, for our herbs, and for every good thing in that forest that can serve us for our health. And that's not the only one. Like I also said, we're going to be having African potential and enterprise. Identifying African potential and turning them to enterprise. Now, this will be achievable through our journey through African land. We'll be sitting with the owners of the land, discussing with them. We'll be identifying their potential in their own area of Africa, in their own land of Africa, comparing it with others, not only comparing it, emphasizing on it to turn it to enterprise. This will help us to gather a lot of data across Africa land. These data will be useful for several other things as well. Our travel, we'll be doing a lot of traveling across Africa, and that is the travel industry. Right now, as I speak, we have our two travel industry backing us up, because we know that some of our friends across Africa, across the world, in the diaspora may want to journey with us. I know especially the Black Africans in the diaspora, they want to journey with us through Africa so that they can see their land, what their land possesses, what is in their land, why their land became a bride that was forcefully married to another land. This is very important. Some of it will be by road, some will be by air, some of it will be by whichever means that is available within that area. We're going to be traveling across Africa. So my friends in the diaspora, be ready to journey with us. My friends in Africa, be ready to journey with us. Let's journey together. Let's go through Africa together. Let's see Africa ourselves, not what we were told about Africa. What you were told is different from what Africa is. Africa is a blessed land. Likewise, because of my background of artist, we're going to be having a lot of collaborations in terms of exhibitions, setting up experience centers. I call them experience centers because I don't want to use the word gallery. Gallery is limited, but an experience center also abhors a gallery. So we're going to have experience centers where people can travel from all over the world and visit. It's going to have shortlets in it as well, and several other things. And that's why right now a lot of people are already asking us for collaboration, for investment opportunity. Every day we're seeing something new about Ori Africa. Like I said, Ori Africa, we just do 1 month in a couple of days time. On the 25th of this month, 2025, Ori Africa will be 1 month, just 1 month old. We've recorded tremendous experience and we are geared to do more. We're encouraged by your words. Please keep commenting, keep telling us what you are enjoying about us, what you don't like about us, because I know you can't like everything we're doing. So tell us what you don't like about us. Tell us what you like about us. Tell us, what you want to hear again about your African land, your beloved Africa, what you want to hear. Comment in the comment section. Follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, for full videos and all that. And all our social media handles, please follow us. And so that you can have first-hand, information as we bring it to your screen. Thank you very much. Ire o, Elédùmarè á gbé wa o. Orí alánà ire kò wá o. Ọ̀nà àlà fún wa o. Á ṣoríire o. Orí wa ò ní burú o. Thank you and God bless. Inspired by Ori, guided by Africa. Ori Africa.